Hey there, it's Mel C, and this is the Six Figure Chicks podcast. Quick, powerful conversations with women making six figures and beyond. It's a real talk, big wins, and no fluff. Just 15 minutes to get inspired and get you on the go. Together we rise, together we change lives. Welcome back to a Six Figure Chicks podcast. I am so delighted to be joined by Mary Thompson, CEO of BNI, who I had the delight of meeting earlier this year at one of the conferences for BNI. Thank you so much for joining me, Mary.
Well, thanks, Mel. I appreciate the invitation and just the chance to have a great conversation with you.
Yes, most definitely. So tell us a little bit about yourself, your awesomeness, exactly what you do.
Well, I would say what's most awesome about me is I serve a remarkable group of people. I am the CEO of BNI. We are the world's largest business referral networking organization that in the last trailing 12 months in member-to-member generated business, that's real business that members have done and given to one another, $26.6 billion in member-to-member generated business. And we're a remarkable people and organization because we have a set of values. The one that really is the essence of who we are is givers gain. We know and we believe that when we look to give first, everything else that follows is good. And so we don't look for what we can get. We look for what we can give to others, the referrals, the networking, just the opportunity to help leaders grow.
Yeah, I love that. And I've seen you talk a lot about the giver's gain. I do too. I find myself when I'm talking to people outside of the BNI circle, I'm like, oh yeah, giver's gain. Like, you know what that is, right?
Yeah, it translates.
Yeah, and I live by
culture.
it daily. Yeah, because, it's definitely give first. I am always like that, and the rest will come back. So let's start it off with something I always like to do. Let's see, what's a fun fact about yourself that maybe not a lot of people know or is a little unexpected?
Yes, well, I'm a licensed plumber. So I led one of the largest plumbing franchises in the world called Mr. Ritter Plumbing. For 9 years, I served as their president. And during that time, I thought it was important. I think as leaders, it's important that we experience things as our people do. And so I thought it was important for me to understand our service professionals or our plumbers was to get my plumbing license. So I believe the last statistic was in the United States, only 1.5% of all licensed plumbers are women. So I'm a plumber. I also grew up in the franchise called Cookies by Design. So I can also make you the best cookie you ever ate and fix your toilet, but I won't do them at the same time.
That is amazing. I mean, it's like, 2 for 1. Like,
yeah,
let's do this.
Exactly.
So do you do any work on your own toilet still?
Well, my husband likes to say I know enough to break it beyond all recognition. So when I was getting my license, I would go home and, oh, this is a slip joint. Let me play with that and see how it works. And let me remove the flange from our toilet and put it back. And he's like, I really wish you'd stop doing that stuff. So I actually know enough to ask really good questions to the plumbers who come and fix things for us.
Yeah. Awesome. Because even if you know how to do something, doesn't mean that you should be doing that.
Amen to that. That's well said. Well said.
That's what I tell my clients all the time. All right. So let's get back. Let's get to roadblock moments. We all have faced them in any type of business that you have. Maybe it's even life. Like with your transition now into a new industry and journey, chapter of your life, BNI, what's been probably one of the biggest challenges you faced in that transition?
Well, it's interesting. I've been a year and a few months in this role now, and I've learned that it's always about the learning. I find my biggest obstacles don't come when I'm new in something. Mm-hmm. They come when I've been around something for a long time. So my biggest obstacle is usually me, because if I think I have all the answers, then I'm wrong. And when I'm new coming into a new role or new work to be done, I ask a lot of questions, and I'm better when I ask a lot of questions. And so I spent 18 years at my last company, 9 years as president of Mr. Ritter Plumbing, and then 10 years, just short of 10 years as the chief operating officer for the parent company, Neighborly, which is the world's largest home services company. And I would say that last year or so, because I knew so much, I think we all make the mistake when we know so much, we think we know so much.
Mm.
And I have found that I should always challenge myself on that. And, there are probably maybe somebody hearing this that you're unconsciously competent means you know a lot, but you know so much you don't know how to teach others. Or when someone comes up with a new idea, you're not necessarily open to that idea. Staying open to those ideas and building your team that they grow as fast as you do, if not faster than you do, is important.
Yeah, most definitely. Having the good people, the right people in your immediate circle is so important to being able to grow and scale and to delegate, like, to
Yeah.
not have to do it all yourself.
Well, leaders get the followers they deserve. People follow people they want to be like. And I've been working on this thought on a presentation on the shadow we cast as leaders. It's not just what you do as a leader, it's who you are. It's the essence of who you are, how you treat others, how you live your day in and day out. You get the followers that you are. And so you must always be looking to up your game, be a better human, do good things, do good in the world so that you have those great followers that do the same.
Yeah, I love that. And being able to talk to like new business owners or people, just getting into business or different businesses to really keep that top of mind because how you express yourself, your feelings, your work, your business, like if you're cramming 7 days a week, 18-hour days and stress beyond max, people may not gravitate towards you as much or be like, whoa, she's too busy for me.
I heard someone say not too long ago that when someone asks you, how are you? The worst answer as a leader you can say is busy because the implied message is I'm too busy for you. And I used to all the time say, well, I'm good. I'm really busy. I'm good. And I work hard not to say that anymore. I never want someone to think that I don't have the time for them because oftentimes some of my best messages, I did a one-to-one with someone who's in our call center here just today. And she gave me some great ideas that I would have never found on my own.
Hmm. Yeah, I know. I go into conversations like that quite often of being like, oh my gosh, well, I don't really have time for this, or my business isn't going in that direction. I don't know how they can help me. But once the conversations start just organically and being a little vulnerable, like you said earlier, like ask. I always
Yeah,
ask. The worst that can be said is no.
I agree. And
And I'll be like, okay, thank you.
there's a practice that a lot of the martial arts practice called Soshin. It's the beginner's mind. And the theory is once you think you've mastered something, go back and learn it again from the beginning. And you'll be surprised, as a beginner's mind, how much you'll learn. And it's been interesting, coming into BNI a little more than a year ago, I came in with a beginner's mind. And I think I do a better job with that when I have that beginner's mind. And I think all leaders do. One of our values at BNI is lifelong learning. And
Mhm.
it's knowing that you're only going to grow your organization as fast as you can grow yourself. And then, if you're not growing leaders around you, then you're not going to take the organization to the place it needs to go to next.
Yeah, most definitely. And with the younger, adults and leaders coming into our space now is like the advice that we can give them is so valuable. So, what would be one piece of advice that you would tell your younger self? What would you wish you had known?
That's a great question. I think what I'd say is there's no such thing as balance. What you really want to seek is harmony. So balance has this assumption that what's even over here is even over here. And Mel, I'm sure you've experienced this when I was a working mom. Sometimes I had sick kids and it was Sometimes I had a big work project. It was over here. And there's this implied balance. There was no balance. It depended on what the need was. But if I look at my day, my week, my year, my life as this beautiful song that has sometimes big, loud parts to it and sometimes quiet parts and sometimes a beautiful melody. Together, it makes this beautiful song. I wish I had known that. And I share that with women a lot. Seek harmony. Look
Mhm.
for the totality of the song. Don't think that you're always going to have this perfect balance, this evenness, because it does us a disservice. Then I think, oh, I'm bad. I'm a bad at my job. I'm bad at being a mother. Instead of like, this is what this time calls for, and it's loud and crashing. This time has a beautiful melody, and together it's really great.
Yeah, most definitely. So let's fast forward to people in business. Like, what would be one tip that you could give them to help stand out from the crowd? Because we are every level in a crowded marketplace.
Nobody ever likes this answer when I answer it, but it's the most honest answer I have. There's a good quote that says, hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. Work
Mm,
hard, you
yeah.
know, work hard from end to end. If you have a project, don't get it to 60%, get it to 100%, or even better, 102%. I think a lot of times we think we have this great idea and then we execute it average or poorly. I'd rather an average idea that was executed beautifully. And so work hard, understand that I've had people say, how do I get a seat at the table? I'm like, hit your numbers, hit your numbers and exceed what you say you're going to do. Do more than you say you're going to do, mean what you say, get it done, and create results for your organization and grow people around you. When you do that, you'll grow in business and people will come to you and say, how are you doing that?
Mm, yeah. No, I love it. And it's so important for us to keep that in mind. What are our goals? What do we want out of this? Why are we working so hard on ourselves, our business, our professions? And, to really, yeah, I love that. Just work hard.
Yeah. And, I know it's also important to work smart. I absolutely agree with that. Sometimes, as a CEO, I have to ask myself, should we do this? Not how
Mhm.
do we do this, but should we do this? And that's an important question to ask. Once we know this is what we're going to do, then we need to do it all the way through, and not part of the way through, or say, well, this is only my part. If everyone just said, I'm going to go a little bit beyond, which is just my part, I'm going to ask this next person, are you doing this? Do you need any help from me? Here's what I have so far, and here's what I'm giving you. We would be better.
Yeah, most definitely. And then also to take into account those things, those projects that we don't like doing, doesn't mean that we should be doing them, like that procrastination is going to hit all kinds of high levels.
Yeah.
If, I get so many people, even me, social media creation management. I'm like, I haven't done my social media in years. That's because I choose to not do it because I know I don't like doing it. And I would waste so many hours doing it.
Well, there's a good book called Strength Finder 2.0 that years ago, I think it was at least 17 or 18 years ago, the first time I read it. And it's this theory that everyone has five top strengths, and you're better off working within and using your five top strengths. Sometimes you have to mitigate a weakness because it might be an Achilles heel. Once you've mitigated that, live in where your strengths are. And one of mine is called activation, and it's about getting things done. And so once I learned that about myself, I put myself in positions where I was responsible for making sure things got done.
Yeah, I know. It's definitely key to stay in your lane, your swim lane, as I like to say.
Yeah. And then bring people around you, whether it's somebody you're hiring or somebody you're just partnering with in your organization. Let's say you don't hire anybody, but you look at this person, they're really good at this, partner with them, learn from them, let their strengths help you make something better.
Oh yeah, the collaboration is key. We're not here to do it all. All right, so let's keep it a little fun now. Let's see. I think I want to know if you could have dinner with any successful woman, dead or alive, who would it be?
It'd be my mother. My
Oh,
mom raised many children. She was a working mom. She put herself through college. She went back to college after I was in the sixth grade.
wow.
She's the most organized. She was editor in chief of Microsoft Press while she had many children, and I would love to have one more time to have a meal with her.
I love that. Gosh. So, what did she go back to school for?
She got her degree in English, and it was interesting because she went to work for Tandy, which owned Radio Shack, and was doing a lot of the writing of all the manuals that have to be written. And then Bill Gates actually recruited her over to Microsoft to to be editor in chief at with all the manuals that got written for every program, whether it was Access
Oh.
or all the Microsoft programs in the early days. And she took that writing and used it to do good in the world of computers.
My gosh. Yes. Wow. Writing. Whew, that's one thing that I never thought I would be in. Like I was really good at math in school, hated English
Huh.
until, a publisher came into my life and she's like, the easiest way to write your first book is to be in an anthology, a book collaboration. And from there, I've, been in 7+ books, but the power of writing is so incredible to be able to, share our stories, to empower others or share our knowledge.
I love that you wrote Six Figure Chicks. I love that you studied that and put that out there. And my degree, one of my degrees is in English. And the reason is because I figured if I could master at least one language in a way that I could move people to get things done that mattered to them, that I could change my corner of the world. And so that's why I got my degree in English. And I think about all the time, what's the simplest? I had a great teacher who said, big ideas, little words, not big words, little ideas. Use big ideas and get them to the simplest way you can communicate them to somebody that makes them want to do it and helps inspire. The Latin root of the word inspire means to breathe life into. And I think with the right words, you can inspire people to be the best versions of themselves.
Yes, so true. Gosh, little words. I love it. Okay,
Yeah.
final thoughts. How can people connect with you?
Well, lots of different ways. They can go to LinkedIn. I'm Mary Kennedy Thompson, LinkedIn, and I talk a lot through LinkedIn. I write articles. I just did one on hitting my 1 year anniversary, and I've traveled to dozens of countries already because we're in 78 countries at BNI, and we have a very large international presence. So it was important for me to get out in front of people, our members, our franchisees, and our associates. And so I learned a lot, and I thought I was well traveled. I traveled through my childhood and my early adult years through the Marine Corps, but I learned so much about how our givers gain value translates across all the cultures. And so LinkedIn is a great way to connect with me. And also, I always tell everybody my email is so easy. It's mary@bni.com. And so, I love to hear great story. If you're a member, and you've had a great experience, or you want to share something with me about BNI, I'd love to hear it. If you're not a member and you'd like to check it out, let me know. I'll connect you to the right people, get you as a visitor into a chapter. I'd love to hear that. And if you're a small business owner, thank you for what you do, because you are the reason. I tell everybody, it's not the politicians that will bring the world together. It is the businesses that want to do business across their town, across their state, across their country, across the globe.
Mm, I love that. I love how open you are and transparent. Like, this is me now, if
Good
you
or bad, and sometimes it's both.
yes. All right. Well, thank you all for joining us. Keep rising, always give, givers gain. I love it. I live by it, and I hope others do too. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Mel.